Welcome to hashtag 52 Needs. And this week we are looking into hope. We are feeling very hopeful. And I have with me Bron Watson, who I'm so delighted to have with me. And yes, we've already talked about this. There's absolutely no purpose and there was no intention of us wearing the same clothes, but so we did. Yeah.
We did.
So we did. Okay, so Bron is Bron is a lot of things. She's a business owner and entrepreneur. She's a mom of 5. She's married to the gorgeous Paul, and she's a breast cancer thriver. So she started her career in nursing, but she also developed her passion for education and became and completed a master of professional education and training. And then she ran for the longest time 2 businesses. She ran one on business, nursing education, where she was helping nurses to take care of themselves, but she's also got a business that helps people really show up online. And so she's on very much into social media, organic social media. So, and what's really important for her is that people can be successful and achieve their dreams. So Bron has had breast cancer. She's a breast cancer thriver. And she is now running her business around what works for her, which I think is a wonderful idea. And I think we need more of that. So welcome, Bron. It's so wonderful to see you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Okay, so how does having had breast cancer, how has that changed you?
Oh, goodness.
How does that hang together with hope?
Oh, wow. Where
I
do I
know. Start
start?
with a little question.
Right. So having a life-threatening diagnosis changes literally everything. It puts things into perspective. It puts things that you may not have thought were important are now important. It literally, it puts you into an absolute spiral of hell while ever you're going through treatment. For me, I can't only talk for me. I can't talk for anyone else. Surgery and then 9 months of treatment, chemotherapy, radiotherapy. It was the most challenging thing I've ever been through in my life. And all I had was hope. I got a hat after I'd lost all my hair, and it's a breast cancer hat. And it's just got the breast cancer symbol at the front and the word hope at the back. And I would wear that hat because my head was too hot for wigs, too hot for bandanas, too hot for turbans. So I ended up living in caps. And the one that I wore the most was my hat with the word hope on it, because that's all I had. You know, when everything you know to be normal changes overnight, and you don't know what the future holds. And as you're going through this treatment, and anybody who's listening who has been through anything that's life-changing, I'd have what is called a left turn when you're scrambling for normality. So you're literally free falling into the abyss of cancer treatment, and something would happen and you'd be skewed off to the left. So because I think people want to feel safe, right? It's all about safety, comfort, and when that's taken from you, and in my case, I have 5 pairs of eyes of my children watching me every single step of the way, that it's like going, oh my God, what's going to happen next? And so, like I used to say to my kids, if I'm upset or I get upset or if I'm worrying, that's when I want you to worry. So I knew that I was demonstrating how I lived. And in my world, it was just hope. Yeah. Because that's, you know what, that's all we've got. Tomorrow is guaranteed to no one. I could walk outside this studio door, be hit by a bus. I could have a catastrophe, and it's not focusing on the catastrophe. It's focusing on everything that's not the catastrophe, which is hope. And it's active hope. It's choosing to manage your feelings, because there's either hope or there's terror and fear. And it doesn't mean you don't get the terror and the fear, because you do. And I had a business, it's called Bron Watson. And between you and Angela, I rang Centrelink, I think in month 4 of my treatment, and said, I can't do this anymore. Remembering this is the main money earner in our house. And I said, I can't do this anymore. Can you help me? And they said, well, Bron, you've got to employ someone. I go, no, I can't employ someone. People want me. It's called Bron Watson. So like that was a big, big lesson to go, you know, I'd built this brand on me and it was reliant on me. And that wasn't a smart, well, for me, remembering I can only talk for me, but it's like going, cool, well, I can either go, well, shut it down, employ someone, or dig deep and go, well, what can I do? And that's where I felt that I looked at the things that I could control.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the serenity prayer, God gave me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I truly lived that, because to me, that's what hope is about, is what can I change? What can I control? Well, I can change what goes on in my mind. Believe you me, not easy.
Yeah. Well,
Not easy. And there are times when I cry and there's times when I have the tantrum, but then I go, right, but Bron, get back on it.
Yeah. Well, last week I talked in the 52 emotions, we talked about choice. And sometimes people say, but you don't have choice. You know, some things are outside of your control. Well, we always have a choice in how we react and how we respond.
Absolutely.
And that's that response able, the ability to be able to respond with something to something with, and I call that with integrity to this for the self.
Absolutely.
So,
And that was the lesson. And so now it's really around honoring myself, honoring my own feelings, and being response able to what can and can't be in control. And to me, hope is all about healing. It's about looking after yourself inside and out, and not worrying or not being concerned about how that may affect someone else. Because you know what I learned was, whenever I was helping everyone else, and I'd built a beast of a business where I was helping everyone else, to then be able to stop back and go, oh, Bron, what have you done? And it's like, you know what, thank you for those lessons. Thank you for the lessons. I remember once I said, I had the pleasure of breast cancer diagnosis, and people freak. It was an unpleasure. Let me tell you, I would never wish it upon my worst enemy.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm not stage 4. I'm not working out what I'm going to do with the time I have. We all are limited. The difference, Angela, is that I have a post-it note. This is why I liken it for myself, is that I have a post-it note stuck on my head with a question mark of when is my time up in this lifetime. We've all got them, just some people haven't seen them yet.
Yeah.
And the hope is that despite the bloody post-it note, how are we going to make today the best day ever?
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that especially, you're absolutely right. In times like these, where people could be really hopeless, because we've talked about this before, businesses fail, relationships fail, people get triggered by all sorts of circumstances, and also mindset wise, it's really hard to deal with lockdowns, with quarantines.
Totally. We were talking about, I've got a friend who's in London and running a business, and I'm thinking, how does Shirley feel about the months of lockdown? And it's I was looking, don't know why, random fact here, but my iMac at home had London as the weather, so it's -1 degrees, and it's like these layer upon layer upon layer of adversity, and it's like going, cool, how does someone in that space?
And I just read an article about, if you would have been born in 1900, you would have gone through 2 world wars. You would have gone through an epidemic of worldwide proportions as well.
Yeah.
You would have gone through a whole change in consciousness, in the way we live our life, in the way we communicate. There have been so many different changes, but a lot of these were end of the world scenarios. When we had Hiroshima and the atom bomb, and then we had the Cold War. These were all really big things, and people went through that.
Yes.
And the only thing that really helped, and I think for many people, and I know when I talked to my grandmother about that, who got bombed out twice in World War II, they lost everything. They had absolutely nothing left.
Wow.
Other than the clothes on their body. That was the thing that got her through. That was hope.
Yeah.
And she was, until the very last minute, she was hopeful.
Yeah. I remember once I was looking after this gorgeous lady. She was 99 and she was having a heart attack. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And it was a really big lesson for me. So she's in and she gets out the rosaries and she's, dear God, please, please help me, please save me. Right. And I'm going, wow, you're 99. Are you not prepared? And I'm thinking, you know what? Big lesson here, Bron. I know you've been in the game for 20 something years. Big lesson. It's not for you to decide on someone else
Yeah.
of what their level of hope is. But I was so inspired because that's what we do have. And I think there are times where when things do get like I've just bought this gorgeous little black orb and it's called Hope, which is why I bought it. And it's an indigenous orb it's just amazing. And the thing is, what that does is it's a visual representation of what hope is for me.
Yeah.
And so for those people who are struggling right now, going, oh yeah, these girls, yeah, whatever. But it's like, you know what? Find your thing. For me, my hat, my orb, where I go, Bron, you have hope. You have choice today. You have choice to either give into that fear monkey,
Yeah.
or you can go, well, you've got no reason. So hold on to the hope, hold on to the healing, and just stay here. Don't go over there, stay here. And, to me, that's the biggest lesson that I've been given is that's what I'm grateful for, is that I can now stop enough to go, stay here. And I'm busy, that I can be a little bit over the top with busy because I'm good at getting stuff done. But that comes too, which is like, hey, no, put your hat on, go for a walk, and just consciously
Mm-hmm.
just think about what I can change,
Yeah.
what I can accept, and what I choose, what I can't stop a pandemic, can't stop planes not, there's so many things we can't control.
Mhm. Yeah. So it's all about what I'm hearing is about, again, there are certain things we can hope for that are not within our control. And we can just keep, dare I say, the good vibes flowing and
Yeah.
hoping that we will work it out eventually, collectively, hopefully. But then there are lots of things that we can be hopeful for that we can control. And it's not about control as such. I think it's
No.
I don't know. I mean, I keep remembering, going back to my grandmother, who they wanted to do heart surgery on. And she was like, I'm 86 years old, guys. I'm not going to go into hospital because I come out of this. I'm probably going to pick up a virus or bacterium or whatever it might be. And then I'm going to be in care. No, my hope is that I'm going to die the way I have lived,
Absolutely.
easily.
Mm.
And I remember having this conversation with her, and she was like, I know everybody wants me to have the surgery, but I really don't want to. I just want to go. And I said, well, how do you anticipate that's going to happen? She says, I'm going to fall asleep. That's
Wow.
my hope. And I said, okay, well, then I'll see you at Christmas. This was in July. And she's like, no, I don't think you're going to see me. And I said,
Wow.
why? She said, I have never really liked Novembers. And I said, okay, so you don't really want to hang in there until I come back. I was living in Hong Kong at the time. She's like, no, no. She died on the 1st of November in her sleep.
Do you
That
know,
was
and
that was
for
her hope.
me, her hope and the
Yeah.
human spirit,
Yes.
we've just run a huge charity event for a guy, Jake Spurtle, who's 15 with osteosarcoma, he's in a wheelchair, blah, 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 blah. But what the charity, what we did, so just for some context here, guys, we invited the South Sydney Rabbitoh legends to come to Port Macquarie, and we ended up with 16 of them. It was a huge weekend. We had 640 tickets sold to golf and a dinner and wheelchair rugby, right? So it was huge. But do you know what that weekend did? All Jake ever wanted, he goes, I said, what do you want, darling? And he goes, I just want a normal year.
Mm,
And coming right up, even to the day of the events, his anxiety, because you imagine the
mm,
pain,
yeah.
unexpected, like so much, this kid's world changed in a year. But you know what? He dug so deep.
Mm,
He went to every event. He did not go to bed. He played wheelchair rugby for 2 hours with
wow.
Riley Batt, who's how many gold medals has that guy won? Paralympian? Like scary.
Hmm.
And he played it. And you know what? And Jake went to school on Friday for the first time in a year because he spent 7 months in Sydney with
Mm,
chemo, with treatment. So that
mm.
is hope. You've no idea how honored I am to have been able to provide that
Yeah.
kid with a space for him to literally flick the switch,
Yeah.
because he's now focusing on hope. He's even talking about, he's in year 10, so he's 15, right? It's very serious. He has very serious multiple lesions in his body, and he's talking about subjects for year 11 and 12.
Yeah.
Hope,
Yeah.
hope right there. And
Yeah.
it's like, you know what? Whenever I'd get annoyed or whatever, think, you know what? If Jay can do this, so can I. And it's literally the switch between, I'll either have that active hope or I won't. And I've seen it with this kid, and you know, it's just inspiring because he's
Mm.
demonstrating what we're talking about.
I think the thing, the most gratifying, or not the most, but one of the most gratifying things we can do is give somebody hope. Now we can't expect them to take it on, but we can create. Let's like we can plow the soil, we can fertilize it, and hope that they will plant the seed, so
Yes.
that hope will sprout. But yeah, and so you've just been doing some amazing work on that. I mean, like I really honor you for that.
Thank you, darling. It's, as I said, it was, I just wanted him to get there.
Mm.
I wanted him to be able to enjoy that event.
Yeah.
And he just he just, yeah, you're right. I just, yeah, I'm honored to have been able to gift him a space where he could make a choice that was for him.
Mm.
So he now believes he has a choice in
Yeah.
stuff, versus being a kid living with cancer. He's living a kid despite the cancer.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for the inspiration. Thank you for being, ah, yeah, so hopeful,
Yeah.
because we can all definitely use that. And you are a living, walking example of what hope can do. So thank you for that. And thanks everybody for watching. I hope it was useful. I hope it was interesting, and you can take it with you into the future and grow your hope. And I'll see you next week.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.